Silent Struggles, 7 Habits of a Woman Who Has Quietly Lost Her Joy in Life. Joy is not just an emotion, but a vital part of our emotional and mental well-being. It gives us the energy to face each day, tackle challenges, and build meaningful connections with others. But for some women, life stresses, responsibilities, and overwhelming expectations can lead to a gradual and quiet loss of this joy. Unlike more visible signs of distress, this loss often happens subtly, leaving women feeling like they're going through the motions, unable to recapture the happiness they once knew. Here's a deeper look into the 7 habits of a woman who has quietly lost her joy, exploring how they manifest and why they might be happening. Understanding these behaviors can offer important insights into how to regain joy and lead a more fulfilling life. 1. Withdrawal from social interactions, the quiet erosion of connection. Socializing once brought joy, but now it feels like an energy-draining obligation. A woman who has lost her joy might begin to withdraw from social situations, even those with close friends or family. This retreat is often not out of malice or dislike, but rather an internal struggle where the thought of engaging feels like too much. She might make excuses to skip gatherings, citing exhaustion, stress, or lack of interest, even when deep down, she misses the connection. The reason behind this behavior is multifaceted. When joy wanes, so does the ability to engage meaningfully with others. Social interactions require energy, and if someone is emotionally depleted, the idea of having to interact, especially with multiple people, can feel overwhelming. Even if she attends events, she might feel disconnected or emotionally distant, further isolating herself. Psychological insight research shows that isolation is both a symptom and a cause of depression. Social withdrawal can reinforce feelings of loneliness and create a cycle where the woman becomes less likely to reach out for support, thinking she's better off alone. Over time, this isolation leads to an increased sense of alienation from others, making it even harder to rekindle joy. 2. Perpetual exhaustion, the invisible weight of mental and emotional fatigue. Exhaustion is not just about physical tiredness. It's about mental and emotional depletion that leaves a woman feeling drained, unmotivated, and disengaged from life. She may find herself waking up already tired, carrying a sense of heaviness throughout the day, and going to bed feeling as if she hasn't truly rested. What's more, the usual things that once recharged her, like taking walks, reading, or engaging in hobbies, now seem like insurmountable tasks. This chronic fatigue often goes unnoticed by others, as it's not always visible. A woman may still show up to work, manage household responsibilities, and maintain a facade of normalcy, but inside, she feels like a shell of herself. This emotional burnout happens when the demands of life outweigh her ability to cope, leading to a depletion of her joy reserves. Psychological insight: the mental load many women carry, balancing career, family, social obligations, and self-care, often leads to chronic stress. This constant state of heightened stress keeps the nervous system in overdrive, preventing the body from fully relaxing. As a result, even a full night of sleep can feel unrefreshing, deepening feelings of exhaustion. 3. Difficulty finding pleasure in old passions, the loss of what once sparked joy. It's heartbreaking when something you once loved no longer brings you the joy it used to. A woman who has quietly lost her joy may stop enjoying hobbies, activities, or even simple pleasures she once found fulfilling. Whether it's reading, painting, cooking, or traveling, these passions that once nourished her now feel like chores. The thrill is gone, and with it, the joy of creation, discovery, or leisure. This can create a profound sense of loss. If you no longer find satisfaction in things that once lit you up, it's easy to feel like something is deeply wrong with you. The joy you once felt becomes distant, as if it's a part of someone else's life. Psychological insight: losing interest in activities once enjoyed is a hallmark of depression and emotional burnout. It's known as anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure from activities that once brought happiness. This happens because when joy fades, the brain's reward centers become less responsive, making it harder to feel enjoyment in anything. 4. Constant self-criticism, the inner critic takes over. When joy is absent, a woman often becomes her own harshest critic. She may replay moments in her mind where she feels she didn't measure up, constantly focusing on perceived failures or shortcomings. This relentless self-criticism can feel suffocating. The joy that once came from celebrating achievements, even small ones, is replaced by a tendency to focus on what went wrong or what could have been better. This constant inner dialogue can make her feel unworthy of success, love, or happiness. Every action, no matter how minor, is scrutinized, leading to a negative cycle that further drains her sense of joy. Psychological insight: Self-criticism is often linked to perfectionism and low self-esteem. When someone feels disconnected from their inner sense of joy, they may rely on external validation or set impossibly high standards for themselves. This sets them up for constant disappointment, as they can never quite live up to these self-imposed ideals. 5. Lack of motivation to care for oneself, the erosion of self-worth. As joy fades, a woman may stop taking care of herself, both physically and emotionally. She may skip workouts, neglect her appearance, or fail to practice self-care habits she once found nourishing. The thought of prioritizing herself feels selfish or even pointless. She might push through the day without eating well, getting rest, or tending to her emotional needs, thinking she can just power through it all. This neglect is not a sign of laziness, but a reflection of her inner turmoil. When joy is absent, it can feel like there's no reason to take care of herself anymore. She may not feel worthy of the effort, or may simply lack the energy to put into self-care. Psychological insight. This behavior is often seen in individuals experiencing depression or chronic stress. The lack of self-care is a form of self-neglect that stems from the belief that they no longer deserve kindness or attention. It can lead to a further spiral of self-isolation and emotional decline. 6. Repetitive negative thinking, the mental loop of pessimism. For a woman who has lost her joy, the mind often defaults to a cycle of negativity. Negative thoughts about herself, her life, or her future become constant companions. She may ruminate on past mistakes, worry about the future, or constantly question her decisions. Positive experiences and successes are quickly overshadowed by these negative mental loops, preventing her from appreciating the good in her life. Over time, this becomes an automatic thought pattern, reinforcing feelings of despair and hopelessness. The more she focuses on what's wrong, the harder it becomes to see what's right. Psychological insight. Negative thinking is a core symptom of depression and anxiety. The brain's tendency to focus on the negative can be attributed to a variety of factors, including stress, trauma, or a chemical imbalance in the brain. Reframing negative thoughts and practicing mindfulness can help break the cycle and reconnect her to moments of joy. 7. Resignation to the status quo, the end of aspiration. Perhaps one of the most telling signs of losing joy is a lack of drive or aspiration. A woman who has quietly lost her joy may stop dreaming, stop striving for more, and settle into a routine that feels comfortable, even if it's unfulfilling. She may feel like there's no point in pursuing new goals or taking risks, resigning herself to simply going through the motions of life. This resignation can be soul-crushing. When you stop setting goals, you stop growing. Without personal growth, life can feel stagnant, making it even harder to find joy in the ordinary. Psychological insight. This resignation often comes from a place of emotional exhaustion. When life feels overwhelming or out of control, retreating into a safe and predictable routine can feel like the only way to cope. However, it also means that she no longer has the motivation or energy to seek fulfillment or joy in new endeavors. Regaining joy. A path to healing. Losing joy doesn't have to be permanent. Understanding these subtle signs and acknowledging their existence is the first step in reconnecting with the joy that once felt like a natural part of life. Whether through therapy, journaling, connecting with others, or simply taking time for self-care, there are many ways to rekindle that spark. The journey back to joy may be long, but with patience and support, it is always possible. If you or someone you know is quietly struggling with these habits, remember that it's okay to seek help. The path to rediscovering joy is not a straight line, but every step taken is one closer to finding peace, happiness, and fulfillment once again.